नारीपुं हन्ति धर्मवीर mattam, careless. Pramattam, intoxicated. Unmattam, insane. Suktam, asleep. Balam, boy. Priyam, woman. Jadam, foolish. Prapannam, surrendered. Vipram, Viratham, one who has lost his chariot. One who has lost his chariot. It's called Viratham. Vitam, afraid. Na, not. Ipum, enemy. Hanti, kill. Dharmavir, one who knows the principles of religion. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. There are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. Sa prananyah parapranai prapushyat gruna phala sarvadastasya hi shreyo yadoshadya satatpuman. Swa pranan, one's own life, ya, one who, parapranaha, pranahi, at the cost of others' lives, prapushnati, maintains properly, agruna, shameless, halaha, wretched, tatvadha, killing of him, tasya, his, he certainly, shreya, well-being, yat, by which, doshat, by the fault, yati, goes, adha, downwards, Uman, a person. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own action. A life for life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of others' life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him. And it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of a life for a life are purified of all their sins, so much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, exactly like a party of conspirators to kill a human being combined. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. No one can create a human, no one can create a living being despite of all advancements of material science. And therefore, no one has the right to kill a living being by one's independent whims. For the animal eaters, the scriptures have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifice only, and such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of slaughterhouses and not to encourage animal killing. The procedure under such animal sacrifices allowed in the scriptures is good both for the animal sacrificed and the animal eaters. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar, and the animal eater is saved from grosser type of sin, eating meats supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of material afflictions to society, country, and the people in general. The material world is itself a place always full of anxieties, and by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities. So here, very nice description is given. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी तदा रजस्तमो भावा कामलोभादयस्ते चेते तैरनाविद्धं सितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति जयति जयति नामानंद रूपम मुरारे विरमिर्य धर्म ध्यान पूजादि यज्ञम कथमपि सकृदात्तम मुक्तिदं प्राणनाम यत् परममृतमेकं जीवनं भूषणं मे. So there was a lecture given on September 29, 1976 in Vrindavan by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own action. Matta pramattam unmattam suktam balam striyam jadam prapannam viratham dharmavi saprananya paraprani prapushnati agrunata khala tadvadas tasya shreyo yadushati ati adah kuman. So Kshatriyas fight, it is not ordinary fight like cats and dogs. The cats and dogs also fight, and the Kshatriyas in the battlefield of Kurukshetra under the guidance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are not the same. Sometimes in the foreign countries, they do not know. They simply know fight means cats and dogs fight. No, therefore, the question why Krishna induced Arjuna to fight. Certainly they do not know there is fight on the principles of religion. That is real fight. Otherwise, fight whimsically, that's animals fight, cat and dogs fight. So when there is fight on religious principles, there are different rules and regulations. One has to observe these rules and regulations. Just like striking the enemy, it should not come down the waist. We can strike the enemy from head to waist, not below that. That is illegal. Similarly, when the enemy is like this, mattam, pramattam, unmattam, one after another. Matta means careless, inattentive. So if by chance, by inattentiveness, one does something wrong, he should not be considered as enemy. He is careless. He should be chastised, but even if his enemy is not subjected to being killed. Similarly, Pramatta. Pramatta means constitutionally he is not mad, but by some external influence, one has to become mad like. It's called Pramatta. For example, your enemy is drunk, then drunk with liquor and all that. So you are not supposed to kill your enemy just because he's Pramatta, Unmatta, mad, careless, intoxicated. Then there is no question of killing such an enemy. One should not kill enemy. Like. Just like in the material world, almost 99.9% they're all pramatta. For example, pramatta tasya nidhanam pashyan apina pashyati. In the Bhagavad, it is said that we are depending, we are thinking, I am sure. Why? Now I have got very good wife, I am sure to live peacefully. Or happily. Or I shall not die because I have got very good wife, faithful wife. Similarly, I have got very good husband or very good friend, or I am born in a very big nation, so on. Security. Because security is a problem. Everyone in this material world, they have got four problems. How to eat, how to sleep, how to have sex, and how to become secure. Security. The animal is also working very hard for these four principles, and the man is also working very hard. That is common. But that is not security. Because I have got very good means of living, very good means of sleeping, nice house, and very good wife, and very good bank balance, and good government. Therefore, I am secure. That is nonsense. Pramatta. That is called pramatta. Means he does not know that at any moment Yamaraj can come and kick him out from that position. At that moment, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Yamaraj is the representative of Krishna, a servant of Krishna. He is Vaishnava. Yamaraj, we are very much afraid of Yamaraj, but he is a Vaishnava. Not only Vaishnava, he is one of the Mahajans. Mahajano yena gathasakam. So, we have to follow the path. Tarko pratistha shrutayo vivinna nasa vrushiriyasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatha sapantha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, the Shastras confirm one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajanas advocate. So this is actually the instruction given by Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was asked what path we should take. Then he said, Mahajano yena gathasapari. In former times, everyone used to deeply revere the axiom Mahajano yena gathasapari and honor the principles of Anugatya, accepting the guidance of one's respectable superiors. So this is very, very important. Mahajano yena gathasapari. So human nature is variegated, and so are differences of opinion. Sri Bhagavan, however, is one without a second. Ekam eva dvitiyam. His opinion is one, and furthermore it is absolute. It thus follows that the Mahajanas who have taken shelter of his lotus feet also share one unified opinion. In the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Maharaj declared, Mahajano yena gathasa pantha. One must follow the path of the Mahajan in every respect. Both Mahajan and Pantha are in the singular case, which shows the path revealed by the Mahajan to be one and not many. Uh, the apparent contradictions in the opinions of the Mahajanas are harmonized in the hearts of those fortunate souls who are nishkapat, free from duplicity in seeking the truth. The Mahajanas follow only one path. To the extent that a man's consciousness is contaminated with sin, his firm faith in the statements of the scriptures and Sadguru, Mahajan, vanishes. It is Sri Bhagwan alone who manifests as Shastra and as the Mahajan, both of which are eternal. Their statements are all Trikal Satya, true in the past, present, and future. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Sukadeva Goswami, one of the 12 Mahajans, has stated, Vikriditam Vrajavadhuvir idam cha Vishnu. To read the heart of the disease of mundane lust, one must faithfully hear Ras Leela from an exalted Vaishnava. On the other hand, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, another Mahajan, warns us, Smeram Bhangitrayam Parjitam Sati Vishrina Drishtim Vankshinasyadar Kishalayam Ujvalam Chandrakena Govindakya Haritanamita Keshi Tirthopakanthe Ma Prekshishthastava Sakya Divandu Sanghe Stiranga. The sweet form of Shri Hari steals the minds of all living entities as he stands at Keshi Ghat on Yamuna's shore. Dear friend, don't let your glance fall in that direction if you are attached to any friends in this world. The first of those two verses of the Mahajan give a mandatory order, and the second gives a prohibition. Although they appear contradictory, they actually express one opinion. Not only that, they are in beautiful harmony with each other. The second verse utilizes parokshavad, describing a situation as something else in order to disguise its real nature. Its real meaning is that one must immediately go to Keshighar to behold Krishna's beautiful form there. Then all attachment to this world will disappear. Foolish people, deluded by Maya, fail to understand and harmonize the inherent views by the Mahajans and Shastra, which are eternal. So here, we have to understand what Mahajan is telling, directly or indirectly. Mahajano yena gathasu pantha. Logic and discourse are inconclusive. Therefore, you have to follow great Mahajans like Bhishma. Mahabharata has told. One should accept whatever path is set out by the Mahajans. Thus, the spiritual aspirant is urged to follow the examples of Prahlad and Bali Maharaj. Like these two Mahajans, Vibhishan rejected all his relatives, including his inimical brothers Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and took exclusive shelter of Sri Ram. Similarly, Sri Ram's older brother Bharat rejected his mother Kaikeyi after she had Ram exiled to the forest for 14 years. So, it is very clearly told that we have to follow the Mahajans. Without following Mahajans, we cannot be delivered. So Mahajanas have told that Mahajano yena gathasa pantha. Yamaraj is also Mahajan. He is Mahajan in this sense. All the sinful living entities are brought before him. And according to the gravity of criminality and sinful action, he punishes. Just like magistrate. Before the magistrate, all criminals are brought in, and he considers the gravity of the case. And according to the case, somebody is hanged and somebody is put into the jail for 3 years. Somebody for 6 years, somebody for 6 months. That is Yamaraj's duty. He is also Dharmavid. His name is Dharmaraj. Not that because he is punishing. Simply his own business is to punish. But still he is Dharmaraj, Dharmavid. He knows how to punish a person on religious principle. So we are, in this material world, we are Pramat. We are thinking These material conditions will save me. That is Pramatta, half mad, crazy, Pramatta. We are thinking, Deha Patya Kalatradishu. I am thinking I am very strong body, cannot achieve self-realization. Now some of our big sannyasis, it took it that unless you become very strong and stout by eating meat and exercise, gymnastics, you cannot understand spiritual life. This is their interpretation. But that is not the fact. Bala means Balaram. Do you think that because you are very strong and stout, a big wrestler with muscles, you will live? No. For Yamaraj, there is no consideration that here is a weak person, lean and thin, and here is a very strong person. Therefore, the strong person should be left over, and the lean and thin will be taken to Yamaraj. No. When the time will come, the lean and thin may be spared, but the strong man may be immediately taken. So this rascaldom that by exercise, people are very much attracted to the body. We have seen everywhere, especially in European countries. They are very much attached to make the body stout and strong. And in the morning you'll find, here also you'll find, they're running to make the body strong. As if the strong body will save him from death. That is rascaldom. Therefore, Pramatta, crazy. We do not say that you remain weak and lean and thin. No, you should maintain this body properly, but not that that is my only business. How to maintain this body. That is Pramatta. These are some of the examples of Pramatta. He does not know Pramatta, Deha Patya Kalatradishu, Deha body. One is feeling secure. I have got a strong body. I shall live forever. Rascal, Pramatta. That is not possible. Deha and Apatya. Apatya means sons. Oh, I have got so many nice sons, very earning, very obedient. Therefore, Yamraj will not touch me. No, no, that is not possible. There is a very funny story in Bengal. Gaye gam akele jam chavena. Gu means stool. So one intelligent person, he thought, I shall be free from the touch of Yamaraj by one tactic. What is that? Stool is very obnoxious. Nobody comes to stool. So let me spear my body, whole body with stool so that Yamaraj will not come and touch me. Gaya mukha gu agle jom. Sorry. So this is another Pramatta. That crazy fellow that is thinking by keeping myself dirty and obnoxious, applying stool all over my body, the god of death, the lord of the planet of Pluto, Yamaraj, is a gentleman, he will not come and touch me. This is another Pramatta. So Deha Apatya Kalatra. Kalatra means wife. Oh, I have got such a nice wife, and she will pray to Yamaraj, please excuse my husband, just like Nara Damayanti, no, or Savitri Satyavan. So Savitri saved her husband from the hands of Yamaraj. That's a long story. It will take much time. So therefore, I have got such a nice chaste wife. She will save me from the Yamaraj hand. Then I can speak shortly that Savitri Satyavan. Satyavan was died on the marriage day. But Savitri was attached to Satyavan. So her mother said that you don't marry this boy. He will die on the very day of his marriage. So love is blind. She said, still I shall marry him. So she married him and the husband died. The Yamaraj came. So she pleased the Yamaraj, and Yamaraj being pleased said, my dear girl, you will have a very good son, because every girl expects some son. The Yamaraj gave her the benediction that you will have a very nice son. Then the husband was dead. So she prayed for a good son, yes. And Yamaraj gave her benediction. Yes, you will have a good son. First of all, she pleased Yamaraj by prayers. And then Yamaraj asked, what do you want? A very good son. All right, you will have a good son. So then Yamaraj was taking her husband and she was going behind. Then Yamaraj said, your husband cannot be returned. He is dead. And it is my duty. I am taking him away. Why you are coming and following me? Now you said that I shall have a son. You said that I will have a son. If you are taking my husband, how will have son? Yamaraj came to his senses that I have done a mistake. And then, all right, take your husband. So these are rare instances. But don't think that because you are very clever, you will be untouched by Yamaraj. No, no. Deha patya kalatradishu asatsu asat. Nobody will stay asat. This material world is like that. Asat means temporary. Everything in this material world is temporary. This body is temporary. Your body is temporary. This life is temporary. तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस तत्र न मुह्यति. Krishna says you will have to change this body. It may be for 50 years, 60 years, at most 100 years, but still you will have to change this body. Therefore, asat, asatoma sadgamaya. This is Vedic instruction. Don't be attached to this asat, temporary thing. That is called vairagya. Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yogam. If one wants to learn how to become vairagi, no attachment for this material world, then he must take to devotional service. Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yogam shikshartamekam purusham puranam avirbhutam. So, bhakti means vairagya. Bhakti yoga means vairagya. No attachment for this material world. One who is actually attached to Krishna, he must be having no attachment for this material world. That is a sign. Automatically, the Gyanis, the Yogis, or the Karmis, they do not want this no attachment. They want more and more attachment. The Gyanis, they want Brahma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya, detachment. But Bhakta, without any endeavor, because he develops attachment for Krishna, he automatically gives up attachment for this material world. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir annatra chaishatrika kakala prapadyamanasya yathashnatasyu pushti pushtikshudapayo nudhasam. So this is the symptom. How one has to become attached to this material world. If I am trying under the, say, cover of becoming bhakta and trying to gather some material profit, that is not bhakti. That is very dangerous. So in this way, there are so many things in the material world, we take it for acceptance, granted that these things will save me. He is pramatta. Pramatta means crazy, half mad. And full mad is unmatta. Full mad. He becomes naked. That is one of the symptoms of unmatta. He will remain naked. So these men, matta, pramattam, unmattam, just see how the rules and regulations are there. So this pramatta, deha patya kalatradishu atmasanneshu asatsapi tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyanapi na pashyati. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, 4th verse. Pramatta, that word is used. Pramatta tasya nidhanam pashyat apina pashyati. He is seeing every day that this gentleman had a very good wife, this gentleman had a very nice son, very good family, but they are dying. So who will protect him? He is thinking that my children, my wife, my friends will save me, but they have died. So how he will be protected? So nobody can protect anybody. That is not possible. Everyone has to take care of himself. This world is like that. Don't depend. Only Krishna can protect you. Nobody else. If you know this, then you are not pramatta. And if you do not know this, and if you are a rascal, then you are pramatta. Only Krishna. Krishna therefore said, he gives assurance that Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja shrudam sarva bhutanam. I am friend of everyone. I can give you protection. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. So you have to take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise, you are a pramatta, rascal, moodha. Krishna is giving advice that do this. But we are rascals, pramatta. We think that my son will give me protection, my wife will give protection. My friend will give me protection, my government will give protection. All these are nonsense. Pramatta. This is the meaning of pramatta. Just try to understand. Pramatta tasya nidhanam pashyan apina pashyati. Another pramatta is that those who are mad after sense gratification. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. There's another verse. Nunam pramatta. Those who are pramatta, those who have no responsibility of life, sometimes unnecessarily stealing and doing so many wrong things. Vikarma. Why now pramatta? Is also crazy. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. And why is taking risk of being punished? Suppose one man is stealing, he will be punished either by the law of the state or by the laws of nature or God. He will be punished. He can escape the laws of the state, but he cannot escape the laws of nature or God. Prakrite kriyamani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. It is not possible. Just like the laws of nature, if he infect some disease, she will have to be punished. You will suffer from that disease. That is punishment. You cannot escape. Similarly, anything you do, karanam guna sangosya sat asad yoni janma. If you live like a cat and dog, that is infection, guna, the mode of ignorance. Then your next lifetime, you will become a dog. You must be punished. That is law of nature. So therefore, one who does not know all these laws, he commits so many sinful activities. Vikarma. Karma, vikarma, akarma. Karma means what is prescribed. Guna karma. Guna karma vibhagasha. Karma means as it is in the Shastra, as you have developed a certain type of modes of nature, your karma is according to that. Brahman karma, Kshatriya karma, Vaishya karma. So if you follow, that is the duty of the spiritual master and Shastra, to designate when he is a brahmachari, that you work like this. You work like a brahmana. You work like a kshatriya. You work like a vaishya and other shudra. So this division is made by the spiritual master. How? Yasya lakshanam proktam pumso varna vivenjakam. The spiritual master will say that you work like this. So that should be determined. That is karma, guna karma. Spiritual master sees that he has these qualities. That is natural. Just like in the school, college, somebody is being trained up as a scientist. Somebody is trained up as an engineer, as a medical man, as a lawyer. According to the tendency, practical psychology of the student is advised that you take this line. Similarly, these four divisions of the society, it is very scientific. So by the instruction of the guru, when he is in the Gurukul, he will be specified a particular type of duty. And if he does it faithfully, swakarmana tam abhyarcha. The real purpose is Krishna consciousness. And according to his guna and karma, he is engaged in a particular occupational duty. Nothing is bad provided it is meant for Krishna's satisfaction. Atah pumbir dujasreshta varnashrama vibhagasha. The varnashram vibhag must be there. But what is the aim of varnashram? Simply by becoming a Brahman, he is successful. No. Nobody can become successful unless he satisfies Krishna. That is real success. Just like Arjuna did. By the military art, he satisfied Krishna. Similarly, by your Vaishyavritti, Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam, by performing agriculture work, by protecting cows, by engaging in trade, you can satisfy Krishna. By your Brahmana Vritti, the nature of a Brahmana, you can satisfy Krishna. Even by your Shudra Vritti, your mood as a servant, menial servant, you can satisfy Krishna. That possibility is there. That Krishna says, Swakarmanatam abhyarcha. The aim should be how to satisfy Krishna. It doesn't matter whether you are a Brahman or a Kshatriya. Krishna confirms it. अपि चेत सुदुराचारो भजते माम अनन्यभाग साधरेव समन्तव्य सम्यक व्यवसितो हि सा. And he says, माम हि पार्थिवपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्योपापयोनया स्त्रियो वैश्य तथा शूद्रो तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्. Papayoni means below the Vaishyas. The Shudras, they are Papayonis. Vaishyas also. Striyo Vaishyas tata Shudras tepi yanti param gati. So there is no impediment to approach Krishna because you are a Shudra or Chandal or woman or Vaishya. No, everyone can approach Krishna. That facility is there. Therefore, our duty should be never mind in whichever position I am posted. Let me satisfy Krishna. You see that here, Sai Maharaj says that Striya, women, Vaishyas, businessmen, Shudra, working class. But there are always exemplary persons. You'll see that Karma Bai story we told yesterday. There are so many exalted women. There are also some persons born in Shudra family and Vaishya family, but they were very exalted Vaishnavas. Everyone can become a Vaishnava. Everyone has a right to become exalted Vaishnava. And once he becomes a Vaishnava, he becomes worthy of worship for everyone. Everyone must respect a Vaishnava. So, like Mirabai. Mirabai, she became a great Vaishnavi. So the whole world respects her. So therefore, our duty should be, never mind in whichever position I am posted, let me satisfy Krishna. It is not that suppose we are worshipping deity, that is the duty of Brahmana, but somebody is called that you cleanse this floor, so he should not think that I am cleansing the floor, therefore I am lower than the person directly worshipping the deity. No. Krishna's pleasure wanted. If Krishna sees that by washing the floor, you are doing very nicely, Krishna is pleased. Oh, you are nice. Similarly, one man is decorating Krishna with garland, and if Krishna is pleased, that is the main point. Not that because you are on the deity room, you are very elevated, and the other man who is cleansing the floor or door, he is not elevated. No. Shri Vigraharadhana Nityanana Shrungaratan Mandiramarjanado Yuktasya Bhaktansya Niyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Here we told that the spiritual master also cleanses the temple. Like Mahaprabhu was cleansing the Gundija temple. So they're all equal. In whatever position you are, simply your endeavor should be how to please Krishna. That is wanted. Swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Also it is said, Ataha pumbir dvijastreshtha varnashrama vibhagasha. Because generally we take divisions, varna and ashrama. Sutta Goswami says in the meeting of Naimisharanya, Ataha pumbir dvijastreshtha. They're all big, very learned scholars and brahmana. So they were addressing Vijasreshta. Vijaya means brahmanas. Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shaiva. Vaishya. So twice born class are Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. One who has got the right to take the sacred thread, they are called Dvijas. But out of the three, Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, the Brahman is called Vijasreshta. So three Varnas can take sacred thread. Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya. But Brahmanas are the topmost, so they are called Vijasreshta, best of the twice born. Therefore he addressed, Ata pumbir dvijasreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanustishtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Samsiddhi. Never mind what you are. Either you may be sannyasi, or maybe grahastha, or maybe brahmachari, or a brahmana. A kshatriya or vaishya shudra, never mind. Try to satisfy Krishna. Try to please Krishna. Then your life is successful. Otherwise, you are pramatta, mad. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. So long you shall remain a pramatta, you shall act just opposite function. You will be entangled. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yajnarthe karmana anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If you do not work for pleasing Krishna, then that work will entangle you in the cycle of birth and death. Thank you very much. So, Swami Maharaj concludes his lecture on verses here, 36 and 37. We'll quickly read verse number 38 and 39 from his Bhaktivedanta Purport translation. Pratishrutam cha bhavata panchalyai shrunvato mama aharishye shirastasya yaste mani putraha. Pratishrutam cha bhavata panchalyai shrunvato mama aharishye shirastasya yaste mani putraha. Pratishrutam, it is promised, and bhavata, by you, Panchalyai, unto the daughter of the king of Panchal, Draupadi, Shunvata, which was heard, mama, by me personally, aharishye, must I bring, shiraha, the head, tasya, of him, ya, whom, te, your, manini, consider, putraha, the killer of your son. Furthermore, I have personally heard your promise, Draupadi, that I have personally heard your promise to Draupadi. I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you will bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. Here, you'll see that Arjuna had promised what he had said. I will bring you the head of the killer of her son. Tadaso vedyatam papa atatayatma bandhuha bhartuscha vipriyam vira krutavan kulapamsana. Therefore, also this man, Vadyatam, will be killed, Papa, the sinner, Adatai, assaulter, Atma, own, Bandhuha, killer of sons, Bhartu, of the master, Cha, also, Vipriyam, having not satisfied, Veera, O warrior, Krutavan, one who has done it, Kulapam Sanaha, the burnt remnants of family. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately. The son of Dronacharya is condemned here as the burnt remnant of his family. The good name of Dronacharya was very much respected. Although he joined the enemy camp, the Pandavas held him always in respect. Arjuna saluted him before beginning the fight. There was nothing wrong in that way. But the son of Dronacharya disregarded himself. But the son of Dronacharya degraded himself by committing acts which are never done by the Dvijas, or the twice-born higher caste. Ashwathama, the son of Dronacharya, committed murder by killing the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, by which he dissatisfied his master. Duryodhana, who never approved of the heinous act of killing the 5 sleeping sons of the Pandavas. This means that Ashwathama became an assaulter of Arjuna's own family members, and thus he was liable to be punished by him. In the Shastras, he who attacks without notice or kills from behind or sets fire to another's house or kidnaps one's wife is condemned to death. Krishna reminded Arjuna of these facts so that he might take notice of them and do the needful. So here, Ashwatthama has done something which should not be done. Furthermore, I have personally heard your promise. I heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the born remnants of his family. Kill him immediately. Pratishrutam cha bhavata panchallai shunvato mama aharishye shirastasya yaste mani putraha tadasau vadyatam papa atatai atmabandhuha bhartuscha vipriyam vira kurtavan kulapam sanam. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to kill Ashwatthama on so many grounds. First of all, he has killed the boys who were sleeping at night. Another very important point is that Atatai. Atatai means the enemy, aggressor. Unnecessarily, one who attacks, he is called Atatai. One who sets fire in your house, one who kidnaps your wife or somebody in the family, and one who gives poison. There are so many, a list of ascertaining and Atatai. So Krishna described Ashwatthama as Atatai. He is not a brave soldier. So he should be killed. So many faults Krishna found in his behavior. And Bhartuscha Vipriyam Veera, he could not satisfy his master also. Sometimes the servants do something abominable for pleasing the master. But he could not please even the master. He wanted to please Duryodhana, his master, promising him that he would kill all the 5 brothers, the Pandavas. But instead of killing the Pandavas, he killed their sons. Duryodhana did not like that because he knew that the whole Kuru family practically was killed. Only the 5 brothers and Maharaj Parikshit was in the womb of his mother. He survived. So Duryodhana did not like Duryodhana, whatever he may be, he was a Kshatriya and he fought bravely. So he did not like the Kuru dynasty should be finished. He did not like it. But when he understood that the 5 sons of Pandavas were also killed, he became very much disappointed because the Kuru dynasty is finished. So he could not satisfy his master. Bhartuscha Vipriyam. So whatever he had done, all abominable. Not to the rules and regulations, neither as a Brahmana or as a Kshatriya, nor even a brave soldier. He has done things like a Shudra, less than a Shudra, without any religious principle. So he should be killed. There is no excuse, and it is for his good. In the Shastra, it is said that one who's a criminal, he should be killed. Therefore, in every country up to date, a murderer is killed, is hanged. That is good for him. If a murderer is killed in this life, punished by the state, government, then his sinful activities and the resultant action is also finished. He is giving his own life. He is giving his own life. Otherwise, if he escapes in next life, he will suffer so many troubles. That is, I think, they are described in the previous verse. Tat vadas tasya hi shreya. In the verse number 37, it is explained by Krishna that to kill this person, it is for his good. Because he has done so many criminal activities, so by killing him, he will be saved from the serious types of sufferings in the next lifetime. Shreya. Tad vadas tasya hi shreyo yad doshat yati adah puman. Prayaschitta. It is called Prayaschitta. Prayaschitta in the Shastras, Prayaschitta is described. Prayaschitta means atonement. In every religion there is Prayaschitta, atonement. In Christian religion, the Prayaschitta is also advised. The sinner has to admit that he has committed sin. Then he is excused by Christ or God. confession. But not that purposefully I will go committing sins and then I shall admit it. And I will go on with this business and I will be excused. No, that is not. It is quite natural that if you have done something criminal by mistake, then you can be excused by the authorities. But not that because by your admission you were once excused. You'll go on committing all kinds of sinful activities and you'll be excused simply by admission. No, that is not possible. The Christians, they do not like that. The Christians, they do like that. On Sunday, they go to the church and they admit their sinful activities of the week and pay something fine to the priest, and they become free from the sinful activities, reactions, and from Monday again he begins. Then again on Sunday he admits. There was a movement, moral rearmament movement, MRM. So just like we say that by Sankirtan, one is freed from all sinful reaction, this moral rearmament movement also preaches that by your admission, you become free from all sinful reactions. But this should not be. Either Harinam or the Christian method of atonement should not be taken as profession. This is once or twice you can be excused. Not that you take it as a profession. That is sinful. We have also got Nam Aprad. Dashavitha Nam Aprad. 10 kinds of offenses. If you chant Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, then it will not be effective. You must avoid the offenses. You know 10 kinds of offenses. Gurur, Avagya, Shruti Shastra Nindanam. There are so many offenses. And one of the offenses is Namno Balat, Yasahi Papa Buddhi. He is greatest offender. One who thinks that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, I become free from reaction of sinful life. So the whole day I shall go on committing all kinds of sinful activities, and at night or sometime I shall chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Everything will be finished. This is the greatest sin. Namno balat yasahi papa buddhi. He is never excused. He is condemned. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts a sinful man like Jagai and Madhai on the condition that he does not commit any sinful activities. On this condition, not that I become a Vaishnava, I am chanting Hare Krishna, so I can go on committing all kinds of sinful activities. There will be no reaction. This kind of conviction is the greatest offense. You should remember, not like that, the Christian movement. So we should be very careful about this. Namno balat yasahi papa buddhi. Actually, we should not take Harinam as a matter of atonement or Shubhakriya. Shubhakriya. Just like there are many Shubhakriya, auspicious activities. We should not take chanting of Hare Krishna mantra as some auspicious activity. It is certainly auspicious, but generally people perform some auspicious activities, Shubhakriya, to counteract their impious activities. So it is also an offense to consider chanting of Hare Krishna mantra to be like another pious activity. You cannot utilize Harinam for any material purpose. Material purpose. Just like generally, people go to a guru for benefit of some material purpose. Sir, I have got some colic pain within my abdomen. Kindly give me your blessing. The materialistic person, they are after blessing for some material benefit. They are not after Krishna. That is another offense. Therefore, to go to Guru or to accept a Guru, there should not be any material purpose. Tadvijnanartham sagurum eva vigachet. One should go to a Guru for spiritual advancement of life, not as a fashion. People go to a Guru as a fashion. My Guru Maharaj used to say that don't make a Guru just like you keep a dog as a fashion. Nowadays, it has become a fashion to keep a dog. In the European, American countries, it is compulsory fashion to have a dog. Everyone keeps a dog. And they love dog very much, more than anything. So now we are also imitating because India is imitator. Since the Britishers came here, we have become first-class imitator. When in 1914, the war was going on. So it is understood that in High Court, Calcutta High Court, there is leisure hour, tiffin hour. So all the judges were sitting. So one English judge, he asked Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, Mr. Mukherjee, now the Germans are coming, and if so, what you are going to do? Mr. Mukherjee, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee replied, yes, as soon as the Germans will come, we shall offer our respect in this way. Come on, sir, and you'll not contract. Why? You have taught us to make like this. So we'll do that because you have simply taught us this, how to obey your orders. So anyone who will come, we shall do this. The idea is the slave mentality. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee was telling that the Britishers have taught us lying flat on the ground and offering obeisances to any ruler, foreign ruler who comes to India. So we will, when the German rulers come to India, then we'll also offer posted obeisances to them and imitate them. Because the Indians are the greatest imitationists. They like to imitate every ruler that rules the country. Anyone who will come, we shall do this. The idea is the slave mentality. The Englishmen, in an organized way, they taught the Indians how to become a servant of the Englishman. We have seen. It is Gandhi's movement that he dismantled this idea of white prestige. Otherwise, we are taught like that. So this imitation of Englishmen, formerly in our childhood, it was the advancement of civilization if one could imitate the English fashion. That was. So we should not make that a fashion. Guru is not a fashion. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, in all Vedic literature, we request a guru. That is described. Tasmat gurum prapaddeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. He requires a guru, jigyasu. Athato brahma jigyasa. That is human life. One who is interested in inquiring about Brahman, he requires a guru. One has no business for understanding Brahman simply to make a fashion that I have a guru. That is useless. It has no value. One must be very much inquisitive to understand the spiritual science. It requires a guru. Tasmat gurum prapaddeta jitnyasu shreya uttamam shabde parejanishnatam brahmani. Jitnyasu means inquisitive. Vida bhajante mam jana sukrutino arjuna artha jigyasu artharthi jnani cha artharshava. Jnani jigyasur artha arthi. The grastas, they are artha, distressed. So if he is pious, so in his distressed condition, he approaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My Lord, I am very much distressed. Kindly give me your favor. Give me. There is give me. And jigyasu, jnani, they do not want anything. Give me, but jigyasu. Actually, what is God? What is the absolute truth? That is the difference. One is going to God for asking something, and jigyasu, jnani, is eulogized because they do not ask anything. To ask something from God is not higher standard of bhakti. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatad bhakti ahituki tvai. This is pure devotion. People generally go to Krishna, God. Oh God, give us our daily bread. This is not bhakti, but it is piety because he goes to God. Therefore, Sukrutina is not a sinful man, he is pious man. At least he has approached God. And those who are sinful, they do not approach even. They do not go even in the temple to ask something. They say, what is this nonsense? We don't require. We shall work hard. Nowadays, it is going on. Why you go to temple? Why you give credit to God for some success? You work hard. There's a philosophy, karma mimamsa. It is like that. You work hard and you get the profit. Why you should give credit to God? This is going on. They are dushkutina. They do not know that without God's mercy, you cannot get anything. Otherwise, simply by working hard, anyone could become a big man. No, that is not possible. Without Krishna's desire, without sanction, it cannot be done. prakriti kriyamani gunai karmani sarvasha. Everyone is under the obligation of nature and karma. One cannot surpass. There are many instances in the Shastra. We are discussing the point. Who requires a guru? If you are actually serious about understanding the spiritual subject matter, Brahma Jigyasa, not this market value. If you are interested about Brahma Jigyasa, just like the merchant association, they inquire, what is the value of this share? What is the value of this commodity? What is the value of this and that? No, not that kind of inquiries, but Shreya Uttama, Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. There are two kinds of objectives, Shreya and Preya. Preya means immediately sense gratification. Just like a child. Child wants to play because it gives him immediately some sense gratification, satisfaction. He does not like to go to a school or to study or to take lesson. He does not like. That is actually prayer. Prayer, that is Shreya, future benefit. So the parents, the guardians engage him for future benefit. You must take education. Otherwise, in future, you will suffer without education. So this is called Shreya. Similarly, our human life is meant for Shreya, not for prayer. The modern civilization, they are interested in prayer, immediate some sense gratification. That is not wanted. Therefore, Shastra says Shreya, not prayer. The modern civilization is that eat, drink, be merry and enjoy. Do not care for what is future life. That is the condemned civilization. We should know that there is future life. There is birth after death. We must be prepared as it is advised in the Bhagavad Gita. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrunyanti pitravrataha bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya jinopi mam. If we can achieve this success of life, madhyaji, there are many kinds of future benefit. Yanti deva vrata devan. You can be elevated to the higher planetary system. In the heavenly planets, you get long duration of life, higher standard of life. That you can get. But that also is not Shreya. That is prayer. The same material happiness in higher standard. Shreya is madhyajino api yantiman. If you practice yajina, worshipping Krishna, as Krishna says, manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamevaish satyam te pratijani yosime. The same thing. If you practice, that is your Shreya. Otherwise, anything you do, considering it is very nice, you are being entangled. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If you do activities for satisfying Sri Krishna, then no material bondage. But if you don't do the activities for satisfying Sri Krishna, Yajna Purusha, then you will have material bondage. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. If you try to advance in devotional service even a little bit, it can save you from the greatest danger. And if you do not do that, if you are entangled, if you are enamored by immediate sense satisfaction, you become karma bandhana. Therefore, guru is required. Who can save you from the karma bandhan process? Karma mukta. Karma mukta, that is required. Not karma bandhan. Karma mukta. Gunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. If you are trained up to devotional service, mam chayo abhivicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That is sagunan samati taitan. That is mukti. But the condition means we are under the three modes of material nature. That is condition. And mukti means you are not under the obligation of the three modes of material nature. That is karma mukta. So Krishna can make you immediately mukta. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. That is Krishna's power. Prabha Vishnave Nama. He can make the lower class of men. Virata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Avira Shumba Yavanakha Sadaya Annecha Papaya the Pashraya Shraya Shuddhanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha. They are considered as the most sinful, less than the Shudra, Chandalas, Kiratas, Gunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, or more sinful, Siddhanti. They can be purified by the mercy, by the power, Prabha Vishnave Namah. Vishnu has got so much power. So that power you can have the benefit if you surrender to Vishnu. All the sinful men, they can be purified if they surrender to all powerful Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna personally comes and requests you, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Ma Shuchaha. So Krishna is telling, don't lament. So here is Krishna's direction. You take always Krishna's direction. Then that is bhakti. And you remain Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. You are always immune from the sinful reactions of this material world. It does not mean you cannot manufacture. Actually, you have to follow the orders of Krishna. Just like Arjuna is being advised, you simply follow Krishna. Not that whimsically he was going to punish Ashwatthama. Under direction of Krishna. Similarly, in every step of your life, if you take Krishna's direction or his representative's direction, then you are set. Thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll have the class on 1.7.40, verse number 40. Hare Krishna. So that verse actually, 1.7.40 is actually Suta Vacha. Suta Goswami speaking. Evam parikshita dharmam partha krishnena chodita naichadhantum guru sutam yadyapatmaham mahan. Suta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. So tomorrow there will be discussion on this verse. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpataru vaishya Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namah. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinodhyaya ki jai. Jai Nitula Prashta Jai Guru Shishya Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Gurudev ki jai. Nitula Prashta Vishnupa Shishya Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitula Prashta Vishnupa Shishya Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitula Prashta Vishnupa Shishya Gauragovinda Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitula Prashta Vishnupa Shishya Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj ki jai. Nitula Prashta Vishnupa Shishya Acharya Shri Bhakti Pragyan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Saparikar Jagat Guru भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी कृपा ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गोवर्धन द्वारकनाथ मंडल की जय. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. नंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. दंडी स्वामी शिष्य भक्तिनाथ दंडी महाराज जी की जय. नाम निष्ठ संत से अनिरुद्ध दास प्रभु की जय. मटेर सेवक वृंद की जय. धामवासी भक्त वृंद की जय. समागत भक्त वृंद की जय. जय ऊर्जा व्रत की जय. जय श्री पुरुषोत्तम मास की जय. जय जय श्री अधिक मास की जय. जय भगवान जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय. निताय गौर सिद्धनाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि. Thank you very much. So tomorrow there will be class and we'll study Bhagavatam every day during this Purushottam Mass as much as possible, because that is one of the recommended activities in this Purushottam Mass is that we study Srimad Bhagavatam. And there are Bhagavad Saptas everywhere. In Anandam there are 2 Bhagavad Saptas today simultaneously. Nearby all the ashramas Bhagavad Katha is going on. People organize Bhagavad Kathas on large scale. So we will also discuss Srimad Bhagavatam from the commentary of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, the great teacher, the priest in the Western world and also in India. Hare Krishna. Dandava.
Hare Krishna. Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Deity Maharaj ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo Vaishnavibhyo. Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.